and it wasn't too long ago. It seems like it was last year that we had the matzah program, but here we are again, and this time is just before the Festival of Shavuot. Well, friends, as you might be familiar, well, the festival of Shavuot is all about the receiving of the Torah. So what better way to enter Shavuot with understanding the process, the fascinating and ancient process with how a Torah is made. And just one more time, my name is Rabbi Levi, and I'm from JCrafts, and I do welcome your questions. If you have any questions, you can put them in chat, and perhaps, Alicia, perhaps there'll be some time throughout the program where we'll leave a little opening. We can unmute everyone's mics and get some questions in there. So whichever works. I do welcome. Great. So guys, there are a few parts to the program. We'll go through the program step by step. And again, I welcome your questions. That's what this is all about. So when it comes to writing a Torah, we first need to figure out what kind of person, or what's the name of the person that writes the Torah. Well, the name of the person is a sofer, a scribe in English. And in order to be a scribe, there are quite a few things involved. Number one, the first thing is, guys, we need that the scribe should be, the first qualification of the scribe is that the scribe, the sofer, should be a God-fearing person, which in other words means that the scribe should be someone that does the mitzvot and learns the Torah and fears God. That's what a God-fearing person is, okay? Number two, guys, just like any other profession, the scribe needs to know all the many, many laws, which in Hebrew is called halacha or halachot. With regard to writing a Torah, the scribe needs to know all those laws and be fluent in those laws. And once the scribe, the sofer, has mastered all those halachot, all those laws, the scribe is ready. But there's one last thing that's really important, and you might have guessed this yourself. The scribe needs to have a decent handwriting. And it's so interesting, guys. If you take a look at a Torah scroll at one synagogue, and then at a Torah scroll in a different synagogue, or even two different scrolls at the same synagogue, you'll notice even though the font is the same, however, the actual handwriting itself is different. One Torah scroll may perhaps be really beautiful. The letters are so exact. It's beautiful. It's calligraphy. It's beautiful. The other one, yeah, again, it's also going to be the special font, which we will talk about soon, guys, and go into detail about. However, it might be a little bit more sloppy. It might not be as neat because, remember, it's handwritten. Every scroll has their own handwriting, and some scribes, some sofers, their handwriting is so beautiful and so pretty. So it really depends on the scribe. And that is why, guys, just like when it comes to, let's say, a phone, you can purchase a flip phone for not too much money, right? I'm giving an example here. Let's say for $50. And then if you want to buy the latest iPhone, right? iPhone 10, the latest one, or 11 Pro, and something like that. Anyways, you're going to have to pay like $1,200 to both the phone, but of course you pay for quality. And that is why when it comes to a scribe that is very experienced and has a beautiful handwriting, you might end up paying a lot more money because you pay for quality. And friends, the same thing applies to a mezuzah, to a tefillin. That is why the price fluctuates depending on the quality and the experience of the scribe. But let's not get carried away with that. Here's my question for all of you friends, okay? On what type of material do we write a Torah? Is it fancy paper? Is it plastic? Is it, I don't know, you tell me, what kind of material should we use when it comes to writing a Torah scroll? So we'll open it up, we'll take just one or two answers, and we'll see what you have to say. If someone raises their hand, that might be a great way of, finding an answer.
Raise your hand if you'd like to answer. Do you know what kind of material it's written on? Do you know, Nora? Do you guys know? No? Do you know? Uh-oh. Well, this is a good thing we're all here, Rabbi. Oh, okay. It looks like Gabby and Olivia have an answer. Go ahead and unmute.
I think it's like a goat skin or something.
Oh, I love that answer. Thank you so much. Well, the answer is yes. Not limited to a goat skin, but let's discuss that. So, friends, it's not paper, it's not plastic. It needs to be the hide, the skin of an animal. It needs to be parchment. Our friend mentioned goat skin. Yes, you may use a hide of a goat, but friends, I actually have with me today in the studio hides from all different animals, and we're going to go through each one. I'm going to turn the camera towards all those hides, and we will go through each hide and also discuss which hide is the most preferred hide to use and which one is not as preferred. Bear with me just a moment, guys, while I turn the camera towards the animals. Okay, I'll be right with you.
That's a lot of animal skins.
Oh, there we go. Okay, guys, here we are. Let's begin with the one all the way to my far right, your far left. Friends, let me take it off. Does anyone know which animal this belongs to? Let me come up close so you can see. So which animal? Raise your hand if you think you know the answer to which animal
Nora,
this might
but
be.
unmute yourself. Nora, unmute yourself.
Polar bears?
It's not a polar bear, but I get why you would say that, but it ain't a polar bear. Thank you.
What do you think?
We'll take one more answer. What was that?
Is it a sheep?
Sheep.
Yes, it is a sheep. You see, guys, the rule is the animal needs to be kosher to be used for the Torah. So I'm just going to get myself out of the light over here. There you go. Right? So therefore, we need to know what the signs of a kosher animal are. The signs are split hoofs and chewits cud. Most of the animals in the farm have split hoofs and chewits cud. The sheep is certainly a kosher animal, and therefore a sheep may be used for a Torah scroll. Let me put this back up here. Okay, we'll just take it down. Okay, friends, this one here is a bit of a tricky one. Does anyone know the name of this hide? Which animal does this come from?
Raise your hand if you want to guess.
Raise your hand if you think you know the answer.
Jacob, do you have an idea?
It's a bit of a tricky one, guys.
Any thoughts, anybody? Gabby, Olivia? You think it's a goat?
It's not a goat.
Not a goat. Any other guesses? Teddy, give a guess.
I will give you guys a hint. They hang around in our streets, and it begins with a D.
Oh, Teddy, what is it? No? Nora, what is it?
Duck.
All right. Well, guys, the answer is a deer. Oh, dear me. This is from a deer. Are deer kosher? Oh, yeah. Deer are kosher. So this...
They're in my yard all the time.
Exactly, right?
Ants.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a deer, and it may be used for a Torah scroll. Let's place this one back. Okay, next one, friends. Here we go. The next one, guys, it's not a cow. I want to say that from the outset. So which animal do you think this might be?
Gabby and Olivia, what do you think?
Maybe a goat.
Yes, you're right. This is from a goat. Guys, Goats are kosher. They have split hooves. They chew their cud. A goat is a kosher animal. This may be used to write a Torah scroll upon. Thank you so much for that. And we have 2 more to go, friends. 2 more to go. Friends, this one here is pretty visible from where you're standing. Does anyone know? Can anyone guess which animal this one over here is? Don't all shout at once.
All right, Jacob, what is it? Unmute yourself.
A cow?
Very good. It's actually a calf. Yes. And calf are, of course, kosher animals. They have split hoofs. They chew their cud. Friends, this is the last one. This is a humongous hide over here. And it's a little tricky because the color, the way you know it of this animal, isn't the way it looks over here. Let me show it to you, okay? Wow. Which animal do you think, guys, this over here is? It's really big. Remember, it got to be a kosher animal. It's not a bear. I know that's always the first answer.
All right, Teddy, what do you think it is? Mr. Schwartz.
Bison.
Bison, he says.
A bison. It's not a bison.
Good guess.
For a second, I thought you said person, like person.
Who else? Anybody else have a guess? You want a hint?
Yeah.
Yes, guys, I'll give you a hint. It begins with a C. And it's a pretty popular kosher animal, too. And we also may have had it before as well. A similar one.
Any guesses, anybody? Jacob, go for it. What do you think it is? Take a guess. No?
It starts with a C.
Here's a Jacob.
Never mind.
Friends, it is from a cow. And I know you might be wondering, what? This is a cow? Guys, you know which country this comes from? This comes all the way from China. It's all the way from China. So it's an interesting color, but it is a cow. So here's my next question. From all these hides, okay? From all these hides, which one do you think is a number one choice of a sofer, of a scribe? Which ones do scribes prefer to use when writing a Torah? Is it the deer? Is it the goat? Is it the cow? Is it the sheep? Is it the calf? Which one is the most preferred hide?
All right, Gabby, Olivia, what do you think?
A goat?
It's not a goat. We
Jacob, do you have a
4
guess?
tries.
Jacob, go.
Sheep?
It's not a sheep. Oh, wow, we're 2 down. 3
All
more
right,
to go.
Nora and Sophie, what do you think?
A calf or cow?
Nope, not a cow. Oh, boy, we have just...
Right. Nicole.
Deer.
Yes! The deer is the most preferred hide to use. And let me tell you why. You see, guys, in just a moment, we're going to learn the process of turning these hides into parchment. It is a pretty serious work, and the tougher the hide of the animal is, well, as you might imagine, the harder it's going to be to turn it into parchment. Well, the deer has the perfect balance. It's not too tough, and it's also not too soft. We don't want too soft either. So because the deer has that balance, the scribes, the sofer, prefers to use the hide from a deer. Okay? Now let's go to the other extreme. Which hide do you think is the toughest hide? And in other words, which hide does a sofer prefer to stay away from? Even though it's okay to use it, it's kosher to use it, still the scribe would prefer not to use it because it's really hard to work with. We'll take just 2 answers. It can only be, very good. The cow. You're right. The cow, the hide of the cow is really tough, and therefore, indeed, the scribe prefers not to use the hide from a cow. Okay, guys, we got it. I'm going to switch the camera back to the main station for the last time, and then we'll discuss some of the other components, and then, of course, we'll wrap it up. So bear with me just a moment while we turn the screen around. I'll be right with you. Okay, guys, we're back. So, yeah, we know now we figured out the hides. Let's talk about how we turn those beautiful hides into soft parchment. And let me tell you something. The parchment is so soft, it almost feels like velvet. Super, super soft. And I hope that one day, very soon, I'll be able to come and show you this program in person, that you'll be able to feel it for yourself. And until then, you can actually take my word for it. It's really soft. It's really velvety. So how do we get from there, from this to this? A few things, guys. The first thing is, guys, we need to give the animal a haircut. We got to shear all the wool, all the fur off the animal. Now, I don't know how many of you have been to the Columbia Sheep Festival. Every year, there is a special event that takes place in Columbia, although I highly doubt it's going to be taking place this year. And it's really fascinating. There are many sheep, hundreds of sheep. And one of the things they do is they shear the wool off the sheep. It's really cool to watch. So they take these large machines and they go up and down all over the animal, shear all the wool off the animal. They do it pretty quickly, actually, and as fast as 3 to 4 minutes. So the first thing you have to do is naturally remove all the fur, all the hair from the animal. That's step number one. The thing is, once you've done that, the hide is still nowhere near fit to use for writing. It's not parchment just yet. So step number two is we take the hide. I'm going to use this hide right over here. I'm going to remove the items that are sitting on it. So we take the hide and then we take the entire hide and submerge it into a large container. It could be a garbage can, of course, a clean garbage can, a new one, or a barrel, you name it, a large container. The container has chemicals inside. It has acid and lime and whatnot. And what that does is, by sitting and soaking in that solution for a few days, all the hair and all the roots are removed, they're uprooted. And the finished result is what you see right over here. Now, this looks like it's really smooth and totally bare, but in fact, if you were to rub your hands or run your hands down this hide, you would feel the bumps. It is still not yet ready to write a Torah upon. I'm going to come a little closer so you can see. Okay, now the very last step that's involved is this right over here. Let me adjust the camera just a little bit. So friends, this over here is called a stretcher frame. In fact, this over here was made, custom made for this program. And what's happening here, what you see over here is a piece of hide, and it is being stretched at all corners and all sides. The way they do it is make a little ball all around. They tie a string and it's kind of schlepping that thing. It's being stretched. And as it's being stretched with what the sofer, what the scribe does, or in the Torah factory, they take a sander and they go up and down the hide many times over until it has that soft, velvety touch. And that is the final stage in making the parchment. So let's go through this again. Number one, give the animal a haircut. Shear off all that wool and hair. Number two, submerge it in the large container, place it in a large container with chemicals, right? And then that removes every last, hair or root. Finally, the last stage is to place it on the stretching frame, stretch it out from all sides, and then take the sander, sand it down till it is very, very soft. Of course, this takes a lot of practice and experience, but that is how, guys, that's how you get a Torah scroll. So I have a question for you guys. Over here is a part of this over here is from the Torah, okay? The reason why I have it and the reason why it's not inside a beautiful ark, the Aron HaKodesh, is because this particular piece is no longer kosher. There's a mistake that's not fixable, and we're going to discuss that very soon. Some really cool things, cool facts about making mistakes in the Torah. Or regardless, guys, this is it right over here. I have a question. I'm going to open this question to you. How many letters do you think there are in the entire Torah? Remember, the Torah, just in case any of you didn't connect the two, is the 5 books of Moses. There's Genesis, there's Exodus, Leviticus, right? Numbers, Deuteronomy. There are 5 books in the Torah. How many letters? Because remember, this is not printed. This is handwritten, friends. Handwritten. How many letters do you think there are? Is it 1,000? Is it 100,000? Is it 1,000,000? Is it 500,000? We'll take 2 or 3 answers. Of course, it's going to be a guess, but I welcome your guesses too. Raise your hand if you think you know how many letters there are in the entire Torah.
All right, raise your hand if you think you know. Michal, what do you think?
I'll just guess 5 million to 20 million.
5 to 20 million.
Okay, thank you so much. It's actually significantly less than 5 million. In fact,
All right, Gabby and Olivia, do you want to guess?
Like maybe 304,000.
whoa, you are on target, my friend, because there are 300 from 5,000 letters in the Torah. You got that right. Yeah, there's just over 300,000 letters in the Torah. Look at that, right? Isn't that cool? Now, here's my question, guys. Can you fit 305,000 letters on this piece of parchment right over here? What do you think? I have a feeling most of you will say no, and you are correct. Because, friends, there is more than just one part to the Torah. There are a total of 80 parts to the Torah. And they're actually sewn together. And I would like to show you how they're sewn together. I'm first going to show you at a distance, and then I'll come close to the camera. So interestingly, this over here is a final parsha, the final part of the, excuse me. This is the final part of the Torah, and this is like the part that goes over the stick, that beautiful stick, called pulling a blank over here, but. Let me come and show you how it's connected, okay? Over here, at the end, it is sewn together. Every piece of the Torah is sewn to the next. In fact, let me come and show you this up close. You see that, guys? So I'm not sure if the camera caught all the details, but as you can see, there is a thread running all the way through. They also apply tape, okay, to reinforce the sewing and the parts. They should stay together for reinforcement. So that is how all the parts of the Torah are connected. So there are actually 80 of these. Now, here's my next question. Guys, there's a really interesting law when it comes to writing a mezuzah. Mezuzah, of course, is the piece of parchment that we place on each door, right? The mezuzah scroll. I'm sure many of you, perhaps all of you, are familiar with that. So here's the halacha, here's the law. It needs to be in order. So let's say, and just in case you don't know this part, inside the mezuzah, friends, we write the prayer of Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. That prayer is inside the mezuzah and goes all the way until Ovisharecha. We also include the next part, but let's stay focused here. Let's say if the scribe, if the sofer makes a mistake in the word Shema, let's say the scribe forgets to write the letter Mem of Shema, right? Then all the way at the end, by Ovisharecha, the sofer slaps his forehead and says, Oy vey, I forgot to write the letter Mem at the beginning of the scroll. So the law is you actually cannot go back and fix it. It's called in Hebrew kesidron. It needs to be in order. Of course, the mezuzah is still holy and still special. It has God's name. It has the prayer of Shema. And we put it in a special place where all holy objects go to. It's called genizah. But guys, that mezuzah, can't use it anymore. And perhaps, friends, that explains why mezuzah aren't cheap, because they're handwritten. by a human being. A lot of work goes into it, right? So here's my question. You ready for this? It takes almost a full year to write a Torah scroll. There are 305,000 letters. Can you imagine if at the very last part of the Torah, right over here, the scribe remembers and says, "Oy vey!" The very beginning of the Torah, Bereshit bara Elokim. Oh my gosh, I forgot a letter. I missed out a letter in the word of Bereshit. I forgot the rish of Bereshit. What do I do? I've worked for a full year on this. Do we tell the scribe, sorry, sir, we feel really bad for you, but just too bad, you can't use that Torah scroll anymore? Or do we say there is a solution, you may and you can fix it? What do you guys think? Can we fix an error that takes place when writing a Torah scroll? Raise your hand if you think you know the answer. Can you fix a Torah scroll? What do you guys think?
Okay, Gabby, why don't you say what do you think?
Wait, us? Well, I think that there's like this thing to fix it, but if you mess up on the word God, you have to start all over.
You are a mind reader, because that was my next thing. Thank you so much for that answer. The answer is yes, you may fix it. You may fix a letter in the Torah, and it's that simple. Because the Torah is written with ink, which we will discuss very soon, right? All about the ink. Because it's written ink on parchment, friends, therefore, once it dries, you can simply take a sharp tool, a special tool, and scrape out the word or letter and fix it. It's that simple. And as our friend just shared with us, and thank you so much, that was amazing, right? The only name you can't erase is God's name. If a mistake is made with God's name, or if you make a mistake, and in order to fix the mistake, let's say you missed out a whole word, and you have to rewrite the whole line, right? Let's say, at the very top line that I showed you, there was a mistake. And in order to fix the mistake, you would have to erase the entire line, and part of the words, one of the words on that line is God's name. Well, too bad. We can't fix that line. So let me go back to my first question, guys. Do we tell our poor friend, sorry, guys, sorry, my friend, sorry, Sofer, you're going to have to put away your whole Torah scroll, all 305,000 letters, a year's work of day and night? Or is there a solution, even if a mistake was made with God's name? What do you guys say? Raise your hand if you think you know the answer.
What do you think, Jacob?
I think you would just restart the parchment, not the whole Torah.
Thank you so much. You know what, guys? I am so impressed with all your answers, because you're knocking them off one after the other. You are correct. We explained before there are 80 parts to the Torah, 80 pieces of parchment. And correct, all you would do is this particular part where the mistake was made, this part you would have to put into the special place called Genizah that we mentioned before, right? However, the other 79, oh, you're good to go. You're fine. So it's just this piece right over here. Will it cost you some time? Absolutely. But of course, it doesn't compare anything close to having to put away the entire Torah scroll. So you got it, guys. Great, great stuff. That's when it comes about fixing the Torah. Guys, talking about mistakes, there is another very fascinating and interesting law when it comes to mistakes. Here's how it goes. Number one, if even one letter in the Torah is missing, it renders the entire Torah scroll as unfit. Can't use it. It has to get fixed. One little tiny letter from the entire 305,000 letters. One letter, poof, that's it. You can't use it. So here's my question. Can you imagine? Picture this, guys. The synagogue is packed. There are hundreds of people there. And let's say it's Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year. The Torah reader is reading from the Torah. And then the Torah reader encounters a mistake. The Torah reader says, wait a second, I can't tell if this is a Vav or a Yud. Because remember, the Vav and the Yud are so similar. The Vav is basically like a long Yud. And the Torah reader can't tell if it's a Vav or a Yud. So my question to you is, whose advice should we ask? Should we approach the rabbi? Should we approach the sofer, the scribe? Should we approach, I don't know, the genius at the synagogue? Whose advice should we ask whether or not this particular letter is a vav or a yud? Okay, and let me just help my question. You see, guys, what happens, and we'll discuss this in just a moment. What happens is there is a lot of wear and tear in the Torah. Even though, as we'll discuss, the ink is very special ink and it's very stretchy, still after time, words do get erased. They do get faded. That's what happened here. We're not sure if the letter was faded. So yeah, let me turn the question to you. Whose advice should we ask whether or not this letter is good or no good?
What do you guys think? Nora, what do you think?
The rabbi, because they memorized most of the Torah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. You say the rabbi. Does everyone agree with Nora, or is there another opinion about who we should ask?
Gabby, what do you think?
The scribe.
Scribe. Okay, right? So you guys naturally think, and I would say the same thing as you, we should ask the rabbi or the scribe. But actually, friends, that's not whose advice we seek. This is what we do. We find a little boy or girl that have recently mastered the alphabet, that have recently learned the alphabet. We take a little boy or girl, let's say a 5 or 6 year old, or we have 7 or 8 year olds, however old it may be, and you lift up the child all the way to the Torah, and you ask the child, hey, you see that letter? Is it a vav or is it a yud? If it's supposed to be a vav, and the little kid says it's a vav, guess what? The Torah is kosher. If, however, the little boy or girl says that it's a yud, guess what? The Torah is not kosher. So our little friend is going to decide for the entire synagogue who's waiting to hear the reading of the Torah, they're going to give us our decision whether or not the Torah is kosher. Now, I am sure you're wondering to yourself, what on earth? Why are we asking a little kid instead of the rabbi or the scribe? And to the point of, I think, was it Nora, said? I'm not sure if it was Nora who said that the rabbi is surely familiar with the Torah, so therefore he should know, or she should, right? So why? Here's the answer, guys. You see, precisely for that reason, because the rabbi is so familiar with the Torah, when the rabbi sees the word that is problematic, the rabbi says, oh, you know something? I know that verse. It must be this word. And therefore I recognize this word from my studies. Guys, that is exactly what we don't want. We want to examine the letter for what it is. That little kid, the only thing they know is this a yud or a vav? They don't know anything else. Because our little friend, because of the simplicity and the purity of the little boy or girl's answer, because that's all they know, therefore we take their advice. That's who we ask. They give us the purest and unfiltered answer, and that is why we choose to listen to the little kid. Isn't that cool, guys? That's pretty cool, huh? Okay, guys, let's talk a little bit about the letters. Let me see how we're doing with time over here. I always get carried away with this program. I do have my clock somewhere. Here we go. Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about the letters. I showed them to you in the Torah Scroll. I actually had them up close. So friends, of course, the language in which the Torah is written is Hebrew. But there is a special and unique font that's used in the Torah. And that is called the font of Ashurit. Okay? A-S-H-U-R-I-T. Ashurit. Excuse me. Now, there are 3 groups of letters. Okay? The first group of letters is Mem, Lamed, Aleph, Chaf, Taf, Samech, Vav, Fei, and Resh. I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see. And as I come close, you will notice how most of these letters are very familiar. They're very similar to the way they are in the prayer book and the Siddur. The only difference I would say is the Aleph is a little bit different. So let's take a look. The next group of letters, guys, are the words Bet, Dalet, Kuf, Chet, Yud, and Hey. Okay, now you'll notice over here when I come closer that they have like almost an antenna on top, and the Chet is made up of 2 Zions. It has a little bridge on top. Let me show you. Right? And then finally, the last group of letters is Shin, Ayin, Tet, Nun, Zayin, Gimel, and Tzadik. Now you'll notice with these letters, as I come close, they have like these 3 antennas on top, which we actually call crowns, tagim. Take a look, guys. There you got it, right there. So these are the letters that this is the font you will find in the Torah. The reason why they have these crowns is simply to beautify, because they're pretty. We want the Torah to be pretty and nice, and that is why we have these letters right over here. Okay? Now, talking about those letters, how do you write the letters? And the answer is using ink. Now, I want to share with you a funny story. It's actually not very funny, but let me share this story with you anyways. And guys, I don't actually think this story happened. I don't know that it did. Somebody tells me it didn't happen, but it's about the lesson we want to learn from the story. Here's the story. Many years ago, there was a simple fellow, and our friend decided to make the most beautiful pair of tefillin. So somehow, I don't know how, somehow our friend managed to get hold of the hide of a lion. Yeah, a lion. Our friend gets hold of the hide of a lion, and of course works the process of making it into parchment. And then, friends, this guy uses gold ink to write the tefillin. Gold ink. Well, after a long time of hard work, our friend takes the tefillin, goes to the rabbi, knocks on the door. Rabbi, I have the most beautiful pair of tefillin to show you. I can't wait to show you. The rabbi says, sure, please, let me take a look. Our friend steps inside and pulls out the tefillin. Right away, the rabbi senses something's a little off over here. Rabbi knew how to open the tefillin. In fact, I have with me over here a pair of tefillin, an open pair of tefillin. Most times, most people get to see a closed pair of tefillin. This is what it looks like on the inside. Let me come up close so you can see. So what you just saw there is actually the head tefillin, and there are 4 parts inside the tefillin, and in each little compartment, that is where a little piece of parchment goes into. Well, the rabbi skillfully removes the parchment and opens up the little parchment, and friends, this is what it looks like inside. Opens it up and says, wait a second. The hide looks a little interesting. My friend, where did you get your hide from? Rabbi, this is from a lion. What? A lion? Whoa. And then the rabbi takes a look at the hide and says, oh, wait a second. It's gold. You use gold ink. You can't use gold ink for your tefillin. Our poor friend was so dejected, was so let down. Because you see, friends, the first thing is, of course, you know already, the hide needs to come from a kosher animal. As awesome as the hide of a lion may be, or not so awesome, especially today when I would think it belongs in the endangered species, right? So as gorgeous as it may have appeared, can't use the hide of a lion. This part you know already. But the other thing that I want to bring out is that the ink needs to be black. It can't be gold. It got to be black. And you know how we know this? There are certain laws that date back all the way from Moses and Mount Sinai. Not every law, But well, at least the way we know certain laws is it's the kind of the nickname, the way it's labeled is in Hebrew. The term is in halachic term in Torah terms, it would be referred to as halacha leMoshe miSinai, a halacha, a law that dates back from Moses and Mount Sinai. Few laws have that title to them, and this is one of them. The fact that the ink needs to be black is a halacha from Moses and Mount Sinai. Now, guys, the ink needs to be black, right? As we just mentioned. Also, because there is so much wear and tear in the Torah, we open the Torah, we close the Torah, we roll the Torah. There's a ton of wear and tear. So the ink has special ingredients that allow for the ink to be stretchy and elasticated almost because of all the wear and tear. There are special ingredients that go into the ink. There is goma amongst them. And what we'll do real quick now is we'll actually create some ink. Now, normally, if we would do this in person, you guys would assist me with this. But of course, we'll do it virtually, okay? Over here, I have a cup. One of my relations works in a Torah factory. He's actually a scribe, and he gave me a recipe, okay? So here's some powder. I'm gonna place inside the cup right over here, all right? I'm gonna give this bottle here a good shake. Hopefully it'll do the trick. The previous program was really stuck together. Is it gonna go? Let's see. It's coming out very, very slow. Okay, that should be enough for now, I think. And last but not least, here's the last ingredient for now. We have this one right over here. Let's put it inside. Many of these ingredients are in fact homemade. Different sofars, different scribes have different recipes. So, oh, there we go, out it comes. And then I'm gonna let it settle for a little bit. And perhaps if we have some time later, perhaps we will mix it once I see that it has settled. Okay, so there you have it right there. So guys, just before we wrap up the program, I do want to share with you a couple of interesting facts about the Torah, and that is number one of the fun ones we always go through is which letter do you think is the most popular, the most found letter in the Torah? Which one do you think, guys?
What do you guys think? What's the most what letter happens the most in the Torah? Michal, what do you think?
Yud, maybe?
Yud?
Yes, you're right. Yud is the most popular letter. There are 30,000 plus letter Yuds in the Torah. Well, you got that first, you got that right away. That's amazing. Great. Now, on the flip side, which letter do you think is the least found, the least popular letter in the Torah? I'll give you a hint. It's a final letter.
What do you think, Nora?
Final mem or final nun?
Nope, it's not mem or nun, but thanks for your answer.
Anybody else want to try?
Let's go through all the final letters, guys. We have final kaf. We have final mem, we have final nun. What comes after final nun? Which other final letters are there? Let's think for a second. Let's go. What was that?
I think it was final fa.
Nope, it's not. So let's go through the alphabet. We have final mem, final nun, samech, ayin, Pei. Is there a final pei, friends? There is, right? And that is the answer to our question. The final pei is the least found letter in the Torah. There are only 800 letter feis. In contrast, guys, compare 800 letter feis to 30,000 letter yuds. It's quite the contrast right there. It's the least found letter in the Torah, and that's interesting to know. There, friends, there are 250 columns in the Torah. And remember, in the Torah, you can't just hit a button like on your computer to align the paragraphs. So take a look. What I'd like to show you is how some of the letters, because we want to make sure it ends at the same place, it's formatted that way. So the scribe will actually stretch out some letters to achieve that. Let me come up close so you can see. You'll notice that some letters are really stretched out. It's pretty cool. You see this one right over here? See that, guys? How it's stretched out? Another example is going to be
It is very stretched out.
over here as well. That resh is all the way stretched out. And you look up and down, you see some letters that are super stretched out. There's another one. Look at that, guys. Right over here. Really stretched out. So there you have it. So many facts in the Torah. So friends, one of the coolest things is, and forgive me if I said this before, if you go to Israel or to England or to Australia or to Argentina, anywhere in the world, any synagogue in the world, open up a Torah, the Torah is all exactly the same. And that is because for all these thousands of years, we make sure that anytime there's even one mistake, we take care of it. The Torah is so special. It is a core of our Judaism. And therefore, friends, next time you see a Torah scroll, and let's hope that's very, very soon, due to the current situation, right? So let's hope that's really soon. I hope you have a special appreciation for the Torah, and you now know the background and the history, the back end of what's involved in making a Torah, and by doing so, your appreciation, I hope, is that much greater. And on that note, tomorrow night, on Friday, is Shavuot. Enjoy that cheesecake, enjoy your ice cream, enjoy your dairy, and I want to wish all of you a very happy Shavuot. And it was really awesome spending this 45 minutes or so with you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Rabbi Levi.
Thank you.
Everyone say thank you.
Thank you.
You're so
All right,
welcome.
hopefully I'll see some of you guys tomorrow night for Tikkun.
The ink.
We should check the ink. Oh, let me see. It's a little bit settled. Let me try and mix it a little bit here. And as we're at it, by the way, you actually reminded me of something. We didn't talk about the feather. So real quick, guys, we don't use a pen for our Sefer Torah. We use a feather. And we fashion the feather. It takes a lot of skill to fashion the feather. We have to make a few cuts. The most important thing is the slit on top. Let me take a clean one and show you what it looks like. So there you got it. So the ink isn't really settled so much. It needs a little more time, but that's you did see the process of how it's made. Hopefully, the next time we get to see you guys, I'll have the ink for you. Okay.
Wonderful.
So
Thank
long.
you, Rabbi Levi. Bye,
bet.
guys. Have
Always.
a happy Shavuot. Hopefully, I'll see you
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Tikkun Leil Shavuot. Otherwise, enjoy your cheesecake. Enjoy your ice cream. Bye, everybody.